With the passing of October, the month of November was welcomed. It was day 7 of the month. The weather was clear, but it was cold due to the early signs of winter approaching. At the sheds, Louise, David, Jason, Ariel, and Luke were getting ready to spend the last few days on Sodor, for they had to leave soon and return to America. Oliver, Emily, Thomas, Gordon, and Duck were talking with them.
So then, have you really enjoyed your time on this railway?
Oh yes indeed, you really have a splendid and spectacular railway with great scenery that almost reminds us of our own back home in the States.
We thank your controller very much for allowing us to come visit you. Maybe one day you could come over to visit us and see what our railways are like.
That's very nice to you to say, but I prefer if we stay here at home. Besides, I know when the Flying Scotsman did back in 1969, and he never made it back after staying here for 3 years before he was rescued in 1973.
Who knows, Gordon? I, for one, would really love to go there someday.
I too wouldn't mind. It would make a nice change.
And for sure, I really liked it here. I wouldn't mind if I came back to Sodor for another visit in, say, maybe a few years or so.
Count me in too, Louise. Hauling long coal trains here when compared to those back at home are almost easy to handle, and those trucks kept on trying many attempts to play tricks on me, and one by one they all got the same result from learning the hard way when trying to mess with the Y6A class.
By the way, what did the manager do with the files that contained about 311?
Yeah, what was in those files?
We may never know what it was in them since the manager didn't mention anything.
I think I do.
The engines looked over to see the fat controller standing nearby.
In the days before Halloween, I got a call from Stan the signalman. He came to my office and we had a long conversation. He told me that he saw an engine that his great-grandfather once drove back in the States, and it turned out that it was 311, the ghost engine that we've been seeing. Stan then gave me a folder that contained the surviving files of the locomotive, and since you asked what was in them, I can tell you.
What did they contain, sir?
Everyone believes the engine was built in late 1949, but the file shows that it wasn't. 311 was actually built in 1926 by Baldwin as Frisco 1513 for the St. Louis San Francisco Railway to handle heavy passenger and freight services along the Frisco Railway's eastern and western divisions. It was in August 1949 that she was sold off to work on the Campton Southwestern Railroad and renumbered to the one she has now. And that's where the problems with the Jinx started. She was then sold to serve on the Clinchfield Railroad 5 months later to replace a 280. During her time there, the CRR had a shared contract with the Highland Valley Railroad, and sometimes 311 would work there too. And despite the jinx that was cursing her, she worked for 8 years until being taken off the Clinch roster in late 1956. That was when the manager stepped in and saved 311 and brought her back to work on the CSW. After the fatal accident in 1957, the president ordered all files of the locomotive to be destroyed, but thanks to the manager, he saved the most important files of 311. But only what, sir? Only after he murdered the president of CSW by shooting him. Stan told me he did it because the files of 311 contained everything from her design prints to her career, as well as the biography of her. And the president was trying to get rid of them to make it look like she was never even in existence, and to keep the Captain Southwestern Railroad from being a bad reputation, which it was getting at the time.
My goodness. That's just so terrible.
You can say that again, Emily.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I don't blame the manager for what he did. Besides, even if it was wrong, he gave what the CSW president deserved. Surely by now, CXX Transportation has a much better one that knows how to run the routes better than he ever could and respects his fleet of engines, whether they're steam or diesels.
I don't get it. Clinchfield 311 started out before she had the number, but I thought that...
It looks like the story of the Clinchfield curse was not at all told to us the right way.
You look pleased, Percy. What's up?
Guys! I've got something for you all to hear. You're not gonna believe this, but it happened!
Huh? What do you mean it happened? Wait, hang on a minute. You're not saying...
Yes, it's in the papers, and everyone's reading it. It happened 2 nights ago. A small group of workers were inspecting the Miller River Bridge when they saw the ghost of the 311. They saw it happen when she crossed the entire bridge and vanished on the other side.
Wait, y'all mean to tell me she finally made it across? But that's impossible! Since her accident, she only made it to the midpoint of the bridge, the point many railroaders and locomotives said she would never cross again.
Yeah. As we know, 311 tried time and time again, and failed over and over.
I can't tell whether to believe this or not.
Likewise, Gordon.
The Yarmaster and his men could not explain what they saw up there, but they knew they saw the ghost of the 311 make it all the way across the bridge with their own eyes.
Look, it's not like we don't believe you. We're just trying to figure out just why after 6 decades 311 finally made it across from where she had her accident.
It's a hard time to figure, Jason. But now that I heard it, it seems that she finally ended what she kept failing to do. Don't you remember what the manager said? Let's finish what you couldn't and take the last ride together.
Oh yeah, I remember, David. Now that I think about it, what happened at the sheds that night when 311 was here with us and left? That might have been what caused her to make it across the bridge.
Now, I'm starting to think the same thing.
Me too.
I guess she found peace at last, then.
Again, another thing that is for sure, the Clinchfield curse is over.
You think so, Thomas?
He's sure of it, Gordon. After what we and Edward said to her, 311 left us, saying that it all ends once and for all. And from what Percy's told us, that's exactly what happened.
Indeed, she's now at rest and finally moved on. Though, I do hope the same can be said for Timothy someday.